Next question is for you to begin with, Mr. CULP, and let's talk about these fires that we have seen in our state, these intense fires. You've raised the question that the wildfires were coordinated. Do you have any direct evidence of that, and what role, if any, do you think that climate change plays?
I don't believe I ever said that these fires were coordinated.
No, actually it is on your website, a conversation with people who have had their homes devastated. You raised the question that they were coordinated. It seemed like it felt coordinated to you. I just wondered if you were responding to any evidence of that.
Okay, do I get my time back, or is that
Please go ahead.
Not the case? Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I talked to a firefighter when I was in Okanagan visiting the families that were burned out over there, and the firefighter told me that they were just minutes behind the person who started that fire in the Omak, Okanagan area. And so that's where that came from. I don't have any evidence. It's kind of suspect that all those fires started at the same time with no storms going on. But this governor calls these climate fires. That's nothing. I mean, he's just deflecting from, like I said earlier, nothing is his fault. Everything is someone else's fault. And in this instance, he's blaming these fires on the climate. And I don't deny that the climate changes. I remember in the 70s, it was all over the news that we were in a global cooling and then global warming and now climate change. The climate changes. I don't dispute that. But these are not climate fires. These fires are the result of very poor management on the state level. We don't log our forests and replant them. We don't thin the forest. We don't clean up the carbon on the forest floor. And we've been shutting down road access, which limits firefighters to get back and fight these fires, as well as access for the citizens to cut wood and go hunting and fishing. So we need to manage our forests. We need to clean them up. That's why they burn so hot and so fast and kill people and burn homes.
Governor Inslee, we do have more than 2 million acres, or more than 2 million acres behind on the kind of forest management that prevents wildfires from being so devastating. Why did we get so far behind during your 8 years in office, and what are your plans to eliminate this backlog if you're elected to a third term?
Essex, I actually checked on this today. We have improved our management while I've been governor dramatically. Our investment has gone up by 7 or 8 times. Our acreage we have treated has gone up significantly. But there's 22 million acres of forest in our state, and it takes a lot of money to do that. You can't send out a gardener with a rake like Donald Trump suggested. So we are doing thinning. We are increasing thinning. It's a little frustrating because when I wrote a letter to Donald Trump asking him to do more thinning on the federal forests, he actually slashed the budgets for it. So there's a lot of lies coming out of the White House, and I think it's most distressing. But look, let's talk about the real issue here, which is climate change. For people to run for governor of the state of Washington at this date, with the damage that climate change is doing to our state, not just fires, but killing our salmon because the water's too acidic and too hot, and changing the hydrological cycle so that farmers don't have irrigation, and changing the very growing season we have. To have someone run for governor of the state of Washington following Donald Trump over this cliff into the abyss of climate change, that just, I believe, is unacceptable in our state. We deserve better. We believe somebody will not just follow science, but will act on it. And we have a plan to do that, and I hope you're going to ask me about it because it's a pretty important issue.
Mr. CULP, as you respond, would you tell us whether you have any policies that you would try to implement to make a difference in preventing climate change?
Yeah, I love clean water, clean air, clean land. No one cares about our climate, about our environment, than people that actually are hands-on with it. The farmers, the ranchers, the loggers, the hunters and fishermen. I've been a hunter and a fisherman my entire life. I spent days and hours my whole life out in the woods and on the water. My grandpa was a commercial fisherman. My other grandpa on my dad's side was a sport fisherman. I grew up on the water. I grew up hunting. No one cares about the land and the water more than people that actually have hands-on. We need to get bureaucrats out of the way. Then the reason that we don't have salmon is because this governor has failed to take care of that. We need our hatcheries putting out 100%.
All right. And Governor Inslee, as you respond, would you talk about whether anything you want to do with climate change would make much of a difference in the short term where we're already seeing these fires?
Yes. Well, what makes a difference in life is when you do something to save yourself and the health of your children. This is a health issue. And I think we should fight for a health that's causing respiratory distress. Our children should not have to breathe this smoke every day in the summer, which they're going to have to if we don't act on climate change. And I don't know what's worse, denying climate is caused by carbon or admitting it and refusing to do anything about it. And Chief CULP has proposed 0 policies to defeat climate change. We can grow jobs, and we deserve a little more time to talk about this, about how we're going to grow jobs in solar like we're doing in Bellingham, in cross-laminated timber like we're doing in Spokane, in solar panels, the solar farm in southeast Washington. We are growing jobs all over this state. This is a perfect economic growth opportunity for us, and I'm confident we can exploit those if we have a governor who understands climate change and job creation.
Okay, let me end it here. Thank you, gentlemen.